Yeah.
I mean, we would be in the middle of a civil war now.
Well, so I think we sort of nodded toward this truth, but I'll just make it explicit. I do think that one of the silver linings of him having won this election and having won it decisively is that it has discharged all of that pent-up rage and conspiracy thinking. I mean, like, so in Trumpistan,
is it?
Well, they've gotten everything, right? So now they've got 4 years.
No, they believe in elections again.
Yeah. So like our election system works, right? Apparently, and the elites couldn't keep the man down.
But again,
and there's no conspiracy. The Jews didn't do the thing that we're worried about.
But again, and I don't think you're going to disagree with this. We didn't cure the cancer. We just pushed it further into tissue.
Well, but I think it's different. But the counterfactual is scary. I mean, so a Harris administration with all of these right-wing QAnon-addled nutcases thinking that the fix was in and elections don't mean anything, and like, all of that's bad from my point of view. So the fact that half of the electorate is that crazy is, I do think they've been mollified, and then now they get to see what it's like to govern with all of the tech bros they love, and we'll see what happens.
In a compelling and intellectually complex interview, Sam Harris and Bill Maher engage in a comprehensive discussion that pierces through the clutter of current communication to explore some of the most polarizing and prominent subjects of our day. From revealing the superficial attractiveness and cultural influence of the fashion business to uncovering the complexity of disinformation and its detrimental impacts on democracy, they leave no issue untouched. With cutting wit and frankness, they go into worries about election security and identity politics, showing how these sensitive themes impact public perception. Their criticism extends to evaluating the media's role, where financial incentives frequently taint truth and promote sensationalism over significant reporting. Throughout the talk, Harris and Maher frankly address the emergence of modern activism, admitting both its potential for beneficial change and its unanticipated disadvantages. Together, they deliver a fascinating combination of intelligence and humor, producing a must-listen debate for anybody seeking clarity among the cacophony of today's cultural and political scene.
I don't know what will happen with that. I do know what will happen with the next election, which is why, as much as we're living in a wonderful time now, where America's great again, whatever the next election is, if the Democrat wins it, they're just going to be ever more suspicious, and it's just going to be. We're putting off this day where something has to give with the people who don't believe in elections unless we win them.
No, but
that's an intolerable.
Why would you say that if this time we, the mustache twirling plutocrats, couldn't fix the election?
You're thinking too.
Elections works.
You're thinking so logically. That's Sam. This is not how
he
they
won
think.
everything. He ran the table.
Yes, because there was no cheating. But if he had lost, there would have been cheating.
No,
you have it backwards.
Absolutely, but we've proven that you could have a fair election in the year 2024.
You're living in the world where you're encountering people like you.
Right.
And that's not the world we live in.
All right. Well,
that's not
I'm a bad judge of character.
You are. That is not going to happen. What's going to happen?
Sam Harris and Bill Maher shift their focus to the rising cynicism around election integrity in the United States, warning of the hazards that such doubt presents to democratic stability. They study the growth of conspiracy theories asserting election fraud, especially when outcomes disadvantage specific political forces. This increased skepticism, exacerbated by severe political divide, produces a zero-sum worldview where one side perceives the other as essentially corrupt, further weakening confidence in democratic institutions. Harris and Maher underscore the media's participation, especially via political and fringe publications, in propagating unfounded claims and worsening social fissures. They suggest that sustained mistrust might create political upheaval, damage democratic systems, and split society. Stressing the significance of leadership accountability and media responsibility, they argue for regaining public confidence via openness and clear differentiation between valid concerns and spurious assertions.
It's a weird cognitive dissonance, is it not? That like you can be so worried and the world can seem to be falling apart, but then you look around and you go, yeah, but our life is pretty good. And I understand that half the country, as you point out, are going to get pitchforks because, and they are, and we should do something about that. But I don't know what. But for a lot of people, when you just drive around, people are just living their best life, and
Well, the difference between online and in the real world is so enormous. I mean, again, it's not true. Like it used to be that people could just say, Twitter's not real life, but obviously, the revolutions can start on Twitter. I mean, like the things that happen online are real in some important sense. But it's just also true that in real life, people are very different than they are online. And online, you reliably just see the worst face of normal people, and it's pretty ugly.
Yeah.
In real life, people are better, and so it's like it's good to recalibrate and recognize just what people are like face to face
and more connected.
Yeah,
I read in the paper the other day. I think this comes from a Pew survey that it's almost 2 to 1 the number of young men versus young women under 30 who are in a relationship. Like 64 completely single. Like 64% of males under 30. Completely single. Only 34% of women.
Right. So all these women under 30 are hooking up with older guys. That's what's happening.
I don't.
I
certainly hope so.
Yes, that's what the math suggests. Yeah, or they're gay.
Well, but I mean, this was an article about OnlyFans, which the level of patheticness I can't even fathom. That you are so lonely. And I'm not saying this in any snarky way. I'm really sincerely feeling for these people, because I remember when I was that lonely, like in college. But to be so lonely and desperate that you would have this fake girlfriend you must know is fake, and you're paying her by the minute to text or talk to you, and you think this is some kind of a relationship, or this is like, there's not a better solution than this?
Moving ahead, Sam Harris and Bill. Maher analyzed the overpowering effect of commercial incentives on contemporary journalism, critiquing how the chase of profit frequently takes priority over factual reporting. They investigate how both established news institutions and independent creators shape storylines to appeal to their audience's current views, forsaking journalistic neutrality for loyalty and cash. This strategy, known as audience capture, encourages content creators to entrench ideological bubbles rather than stimulate fair discourse. Harris and Maher believe that this harmful tendency not only skews public knowledge, but also intensifies societal divides by confining listeners into echo chambers. They encourage media people and organizations to reject these demands and recommit to journalistic ideals, advocating free, honest conversation as fundamental for developing a more informed and cohesive society.
You have the odd billionaire who's preparing the compound in New Zealand and trying to figure out how to hire bodyguards who will not, kill him and take his all of his wealth in the aftermath of the apocalypse.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the bodyguard you always have to watch out for.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
how do you incentivize the bodyguard, post-apocalypse, to just protect you?
I mean,
when money is worthless.
Indira Gandhi, killed by the bodyguards.
Yeah.
Anwar Sadat.
Was that the bodyguards? Sadat? I don't remember.
Totally.
Huh.
Well, it was inside he was at a parade.
Right.
Which did not go well.
No, yes.
First of all, two of the floats.
The last parade, yes.
2 of the floats didn't. And then, he was in the reviewing stand, and his own military turned on him and shot up
I forgot the details there. I thought it was just jihadists who had infiltrated, but
no, it was the people in uniform. They were in his guard. I mean, there was
but there's the other version. In Pakistan, this has happened. It's ideas spread. You can't keep the ideas out, right? So it's like as long as you convince them.
In another thought-provoking part, they dive into religion's deep significance in influencing human morals and conduct, underlining its dual power to inspire compassion while also justifying harmful views. They analyze how religious fanaticism may create violence and divisiveness by supporting inflexible, uncompromising worldviews. At the same time, they admit that religious faith may also drive significant acts of generosity and build social unity, revealing its multidimensional character. A key focus of their debate is the problem of separating religious convictions from political ambitions, where faith-based ideas frequently affect policies and public dialogue in ways that inhibit development. By asking how to integrate personal faith with the requirements of a larger, varied community, Harris and Maher show the fundamental role of critical thinking and secular ideals in confronting the issues religion offers in today's world. So, what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you don't want to miss out on the hottest celebrity news, make sure to subscribe to Daily Finder.